Hey guys, welcome back to another video on Marvel Contest of Champions, and it's very exciting because we got to fight Airwalker and Dragon Man, two brand new additions to the contest. Now we sped through Uncollected and we're going up against a Airwalker mini boss, which was in Chapter 2. As you just saw, we just went through the nodes, see if there's any new ones, and there is a new node, and we're just going to see how this guy plays, learn his rotations, and get used to how he plays and how to counter him for the end boss of Uncollected. So enjoy the fight. Get caught a few times because I'm still learning his rotations, his abilities, his special attacks, space in there. You can see we got stuff there, but we're doing good. We're doing good. Doom doesn't let me down. He never does. So enjoy. Dragon Man, first boss of Chapter 3 of the Uncollected Quest, and yeah, I really like Dragon Man. I loved him in Fantastic Four comics, and it's great to see him. He's huge in this game, huge champion, and we're just going to see how he plays. And again, we're looking at his active buffs, all the nodes. Yeah. Again, we're just learning his rotations, seeing how he plays, and spacing. He's a big character, so you have to nail the spacing first time if you want to succeed in this fight. Taking a look at his special attacks, we get clipped there. And he's unblockable as well, so we're gonna be running through the abilities after these fights. So there's this fight and the next Airwalker fight, and then we'll be running through the abilities and just discussing what they can do. Doom is an absolute beast against these two champions. I really love the character. And we don't see his special 2, I don't think. I don't think we do. He doesn't get past the special 1 because of our power gain. Power drain abilities. So yeah. Finish him off. Look at that insert damage. Oh, and he's down. Now this fight is the second Airwalker we're facing, and is the final boss of the Uncollected Quest. Now we had a little bit of practice with him, with the mini boss in Chapter 2, but again we're still learning the character's rotations, spacing, special attacks, etc. So yeah, we'll see how this fight goes. As you can see, we're struggling a little bit here. We're down to 10%, and we get caught by a special one, so it's not too bad. But we're going to go ahead and revive Doom and, you know, finish him off, finish Airwalker off, because we know that Doom is a good match for Airwalker, and his Dark Tides have no effect on us. They don't deal any damage because we're Mystics champion, so perfect. Godly Incinerate damage is back and it saves us. Now we're going to take a quick look at Airwalker and run through some of his abilities and, you know, learn a bit more about the character. So to start off, the character first appeared in Fantastic Four 120 way back in 1972. Bio, it says Gabriel Lan was formerly a member of the Nova Corps before eagerly accepting an offer from the cosmic entity Galactus to become his herald. Wielding the immense power of the Power Cosmic and the bow of Gabriel, Airwalker dutifully serves Galactus, terraforming worlds for his master and crushing all who oppose him. Now if we go ahead and take a look at his abilities. His signature ability is the Herald of the Destroyer. The ever-present influence of Galactus steadily applies Dark Tide to the opponent. Like all Heralds of Galactus, he possesses the Power Cosmic, and that includes power gain, armor rating, and attack rating. So Airwalker starts a fight with one Power Cosmic buff, which persists between fights. He gains one Power Cosmic buff when he wins a fight, so it carries over. If you want to read these abilities, feel free to pause the video, as I'm just going through them quickly. Now, Airwalker's main ability is the Dark Tide. The Dark Tide debuffs reduce block proficiency by a certain amount during their opponent's special attacks and last indefinitely. Champions suffering from both Armor Break and Dark Tide take direct damage every 0.5 seconds. This damage is equal to 2% of their opponent's base attack per Dark Tide. Opponents remove one Dark Tide debuff every time they fill a bar of power or whenever the power cosmic is nullified. The Dark Tide passive is also a crossfight ability. So when the opponent has 10 Dark Tide debuffs, they're combined into a passive that lasts for the rest of the fight and the next 2 fights they participate in. So let's move on to the heavy attack. So when charging the heavy attack, increase ability power rate by 300%, that's a flat 300%, and heavy charging can be held for an extended duration. 75% of any power gained while charging is lost over 0.75 seconds after the charge stops. If Airwalker fills bar power, he gains an unblockable buff for 1 second. It's paused during his special attacks. If Airwalker activates a special attack, he gains a Fury buff during that special attack, increasing attack rating by so much. Now moving on to the special attacks. Activating a special attack, armor breaks the opponent, reducing armor rating by so much over 11 seconds, stacking up to 8 times. If the last hit isn't blocked, apply 1 Dark Tide debuff to the opponent, and an additional 1 for each buff on the Airwalker. So special attack 1. The last hit has a 50% chance to inflict a stun debuff for 2 seconds. The chance is increased by 50% flat if Airwalker is unblockable. Special attack 2. If the opponent has a Dark Tide passive, this attack deals an additional 40% of the damage dealt as burst of energy damage. Now looking at the special attack 3, Airwalker replaces Power Cosmic with a Power Galactus buff for 20 seconds. This increases attack rating, regenerates a certain amount of health, and gains 10.5% of a bar of power every 1 second, and gains an unstoppable effect. Every attack has a 100% chance to deal an additional burst of direct damage. The damage is equal to 5% of the damage dealt per Dark Tide on the opponent. Power Galactus sets Airwalker's power to 0 when it ends. Now the Dark Tide ability has a cross-fight class effects, so it's different for each class of the opponent, and as we use Doom, if we take a look at the Mystic, mystical energies resist the Dark Tide, so it has no additional effect. So that's Airwalker. Now let's move on to Dragon Man. Here he is, Dragon Man. So we're going to do the same. We're going to look at his abilities and learn a bit more about him. Dragon Man made his first appearance in Fantastic Four number 35, all the way back in 1965. If we take a look at his bio, Dragon Man was a lifeless android constructed by Professor Gregson Gilbert, then brought to life by Diablo through a combination of science and alchemy. Dragon Man spent much of his existence being manipulated into combat by heroes and villains alike, until Valeria Richards upgraded his program. Now, with both super intellect and immense strength, Dragon Man acts as a guardian of the children of the Future Foundation. Now, let's take a look at his abilities. So, his signature ability is tactical programming. Dragon Man receives some combat-ready programming enhancements. So his passive, Dragon Man's thick armor and advanced robotics grants full immunity to bleed, poison and armor shattered. If under the effects of an armor break, Dragon Man releases currents of mystical energy dealing a certain amount of degeneration damage every half a second. Damage is increased by 100% against cosmic champions. Offensive combat power rate is reduced by 35%. His power charge buff. At the start of the fight, gain power charge, generating 12% of a bar of power every second. Power charge is removed when stunned. If 0 power charges are active, create 1 after 12 seconds. When defending, this duration is reduced by 4 seconds. When fighting science champions, upon receiving a non-damaging debuff, pause cooldown duration for 0.5 seconds. So cornered passive. While the opponent's back is against the wall, they gain cornered. Cornered is unaffected by ability action modifications. Each hit deals a certain amount of physical damage. This damage is increased by 0.5% for each ineptitude or unique buff on the opponent, up to 105%. I think that's flat percentage as well. So on opponent knockdown, he gains an unblockable buff for 3 seconds. The duration is paused during special attacks. Heavy attacks. On hit, remove any incinerates on the opponent, each dealing a burst of damage. If 6 or more incinerates are removed, this damage is increased by a flat 50%. Special attacks then. Special attack 1. The final hit inflicts a non-stacking slow for 8 seconds, preventing the effects of Unstoppable and passively lowering Evade and Unstoppable ability accuracy by -100%. Opponents with natural class advantage cannot be slowed. So special attack 2. All 3 hits of Dragon Man's Fire Breath inflict Incinerate, dealing a certain amount of energy damage over 25 seconds. Incinerate also reduces the opponent's block proficiency by a flat 50% and prevents the activation of Perfect Block. It consumes 1 power charge to generate a Fury buff, increasing the attack by a certain amount over 30 seconds. The special 3 then, consume all stacks of power charge, each contributing 4 seconds to an Unstoppable buff. While active, this Unstoppable instantly regenerates 85% of the hit damage received from all attacks other than the special freeze. So there we have it. 2 new additions to the Marvel Contest of Champions, Airwalker and Dragon Man. If you enjoyed today's video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.